Is it just not doing the thing? Oh my god, really? If I minimize it? Oh my god, really? If I minimize it? And I did the echo thing again. I'm such a professional streamer. Anyway. Hello guys, this is gonna be my Heroes Hour first impressions. I do have Rogue Realms, so maybe I should say that. Because I bought the whole pack on Steam. Alright, anyway, yeah, so I bought the whole thing on sale during the Steam Summer Sale, so I just bought it all. It was one of those games that was tremendously discounted, and it looked like something I should explore for the sake of like lessons learned vicariously, because I am currently in development of my own game that is adjacent subgenre. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my... This has to be... Does it just autosave? It must just autosave. 2043, week 2, week 4. Okay, so this must be the one that I saved manually, because it's right after this other timestamp. So we'll go ahead and continue the legend of Lonzo, the Dragon Man. Lonzo was a Dragon Man. So anyway, let's get to it. Trying to remember exactly what I was doing. It was only last night, so I've already built this turn. That's nice. And we have a couple of dudes. This guy's this wagon caravan, right? Caravan worth of militia are going back to my keep, my city, right? All right. And we want to do some battling if at all possible. That's what this guy's headed that way. These guys are encamped, just increasing the value of the mines that we have. And I think it's honestly time to, like, we're gonna pass turn. Because if I recall correctly, I couldn't even... Yeah, see, I can't even create... I couldn't create all the units on day 1. So what I'm going to do is I'll pass turn, and then I'm going to recruit a new hero, because having a hero encamped next to a mine just increases that mine's output by 50%, which is... I don't know how that rounds. If you've got a mine that's outputting 1 sulfur, like, will it actually... Is it internally it's stored as a float, so it'll tick over and round up? Like, that's how it... that's how I assume that it should work. And I would even like the tooltips to update to reflect that, but God only knows. This developer has not done very much with the UI that I would have done, so... And I'm not just talking out of my ass. I realize this is a lot of work. So just in case, because I know the devs have occasionally popped in to watch streams when I am streaming indie games like this. Just in case you think that I'm being a ruthless, cynical, asshole armchair dev. I know it's a lot of work to do this stuff and catch it all, but I think the UI is... the user interface, I think, accounts for more than half of the experience of the average user. And just because I notice these things doesn't mean that I'm exceptional in experiencing the deleterious side effects of a weak user interface. Other people will have a bad experience with it. They won't know why, because they have not exercised their analytical muscle in the direction of video games as much as I have. They're just not going to notice. So they have a bad experience, and then they bounce. Whereas I'll stick with the game and play it through and notice every flaw, or at least more flaws. And so that's, you know, for what it's worth, Dev, if you're tuned in and listening for whatever reason, it's not a personal insult. I'm leaning on these things because I feel that they're very important, and I know that they are a lot of work to implement. So take it with a grain of salt and try to have a good faith interpretation of the things that I'm saying here. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn, I think. See, move caravans. Does this mean that that's just what's going to happen first? I bet I could just... Yeah. There we go. And now he'll automatically go next turn. So I can end my turn here. We've got some serious movement around the map at this point, and it's killing me. Because I'm like, obviously. Now see, this guy just spawned or something, right? That's crazy. I don't know where this unit came from. 60 to 100 of whatever this is. Trogzerker. Insensate. I wish I knew what that meant. Oh, there we go. When this creature would otherwise die, it enters a shadow state for 5 seconds, in which it keeps fighting. Oh yeah. Gains leech during that period, triggers once per battle. Enemies struck by this creature are weakened, losing 5% of their maximum health damage and speed. Okay. Also, I hope you guys can forgive my incredibly ruffled, sweaty appearance. I just learned the other day that I have apparently hypertension. I've got high blood pressure. I didn't learn this because the doctors told me. They slapped me on the ass as though everything was fine and sent me home. I looked at my vitals myself when I got home, and I'm in like category 2 danger of high blood pressure, where it's like you have normal range, and then you have a range above that, and then you have a range above that, and it's like the range above normal is concerning, and the range above that is like extra concerning, and I'm in the extra concerning category. And they just didn't mention this because doctors are fucking useless. So what a bummer that was, but now I know, and so I've been getting my ass outside to work out more often. So just in case anybody's wondering why I'm so, why I'm like drenched and my hair looks awful. Not that it ever looks okay. The enemies are no match for the might of your army. But the thing is that occasionally it will just probably sacrifice units. Yeah, see, look, I lost a whole bunch of important units. I think it's probably important to play those combats out if I want to be playing optimally. So these are maxed out, which is nice. I think Swordsmith is probably the way to go here because I bet it's increasing the strength of my dragon. So he'll get a Traveler's Kilt, which will, logistics +1. What does that mean? Logistics skill. Is that this? No, it's not that. Okay. Well, where's my logistics skill? Logistics rank 1. So I have logistics rank 1. There we go. So this is a list of all my skills, probably. Increase the distance your hero can travel each day by 5 tiles. That's awesome. Okay. Cool. So yeah, and now we can go ahead and attack this guy, and we're just going to control the battle this time because I'm really super disappointed that I lost a bunch of kind of relatively important units. Where's my dragon? How much does this guy Let's see how this works, right? Yeah, I feel like the simulated combat is typically going to give me worse results. We did lose a cat and a couple of halberdiers here, but we didn't lose any important units because they have a lot of health. And that seems kind of important to me. Like, I'm okay with losing a couple of small units in a frenzied skirmish, but I'd really rather not lose, like, what are these guys called? Knight of the Order. They are technically champion units, you know, so they're benefiting from Lonzo's champion buff. Elementalism skill, huh? So, elementalism summons elementals throughout the combat. Type depends on current terrain, and number depends on skill rank, duration of combat, and power of the elementals. Number depends on skill rank, duration of combat, and power of the elementals. The elementals come in from the sides of the battlefield. Okay. So the number that he is going to summon depends on the duration of the combat and the power of the elementals. So what determines the power of the elementals then? That's like, well, the number is determined by the power, but what is the power determined by? This is what I mean by confusing tooltips. It's like, as a player, I want to be making clever strategic decisions. It's very important to me that I be able to interface with these systems. That's what I'm here for. That's what you play complex team builder and RPG games for a lot of the time. There are kind of two player archetypes that approach this, right? Some of them are here for the fantasy and the story, and then others are here for the systems. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that you're trying to appeal to the former, because this game doesn't seem to have a whole bunch of lore and whatnot slathered onto it. So, anyway, this guy is done moving. Now he's got nothing in the tank, but we still need to build. So let us build. Going down here first is obviously good. So I could build, pretty soon I'm going to want to build 2 marketplaces, I think. The reason that I can't build these is because I don't have lumber, which means maybe it's time to build the marketplace, right? Because the marketplace will allow me to buy lumber for gold. Yeah, I can buy 5 for 1,000 gold. Good shit, right? And so now we can create units, and I can just create all the units. We also probably want to hire a hero. Riza seems like a mage, and I'm not sure if I want... I mean, I think you wind up getting all the heroes eventually anyway. 5 spell power. What a maniac. I'm hiring her at level 4, I guess. So here's the question is, do I have the tavern level 2? I don't have the tavern level 2, right? Where in the heck is the tavern? There it is. The martial statues. It's because this is the upgrade that's strapped to the tavern, but it's no longer a tavern. It's another minor UI thing, and I understand that this adds some kind of context to what you're upgrading. Like it's a flavor upgrade, but the problem is that I'm looking for the tavern when I search for this. Improves the tavern, giving access to 2 possible heroes and 100 extra gold a day. Increases the army size of the hired hero. So here's the thing: is I'm not really going to benefit that much from having 1 extra hero today. So what I will do is I will wait on that. I'll wait on that until tomorrow. And I really don't see that I need to do anything else for today. I do eventually want to a gate to distant lands. Okay, that's why this guy is so strong, right? Is because he's guarding the gateway out. This is also something that I need to do, but I can send my other hero to do that now that it's empty. Although you do want to send a strong hero out there onto a raft, I guess. At this point, we can probably bust through here as well. Lonzo being the dragon man and all that. We really want to be careful about that dragon. I do not want to be losing my dragon anytime soon. This is just going to go. So move caravans, like that button just automatically happens, and then we go to... I'm going to take this chick out of encampment, because what I want to do is move her over here to get some ballista stuff tomorrow. You really want to be kitting out all of your characters as well as you can, I think. Like, kind of keeping the investment in characters somewhat even, so that you aren't just locked to one unit that's useful to move around the map. Okay, so she's gonna come down here. Easy enough. We'll get her a tent and both of these, why not? Lonzo, the man, the dragon man, is gonna come down here probably. He's gonna do his combat and then see if he can't roll for... Get himself a helmet and see if he can't roll for a new unit, because you always seem to get better units than, like, if you're just giving up militia, which is why you can only use that once a week, is because you just generally get good results. Excuse me, guys. Okay. We'll put Lonzo out in front per usual with javelins behind him, and we'll just have everybody else run in after that. There are some reserve guys that are going to come in later. I think it's possible probably for me to... that I must have bumped some dudes out when I did that. .338, so... I now have to take some of these guys out. 326, 314. And then we'll take like a couple of these guys out. 284, we'll put a couple back. .289, 294. Wait a second, did I decrease the power by splitting them up? 294, no. Splitting them up didn't decrease the power. I don't know how I brought the power down. This guy came out. 310. So we'll just take two of these guys out. Nope, we'll just take 305. Okay, that's good enough. I'm overthinking this minor combat. We'll go ahead with that. Phoenix. Burning, rebirth, charge, summoning. Okay, summons a few firefly that will fight for you during battle. So where are the firefly? Oh, I see them. So I'm like, I want to banish them. There we go. My dragon is doing some work. Lonzo's over here getting bullied by a phoenix. Got it. Lost 2 javelineers and that's it. That's okay. 3,250 experience. He's really soaking up that XP. And, you know, as much as it seems like I should probably level up my other characters at some point, This guy gets dragons when he levels up, so seems like a good way to spend experience. Right? We can put... just 8 here, and we'll just click whenever something cool shows up. We've got to, like, parse it, too. Goblin Guard. Fuck. Well, they were actually equal power at that point, at that rate. You really only go up in power with the tavern or the brewery if you're sacrificing your halberdiers. Seems like an obvious optimal strategy to just go with that. Yeah, so he can't quite make it all the way over here, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. It's time to build, and you own this building. Additional marketplaces. Improve the rates slightly. Additional marketplaces. How do I build additional? That makes it sound like I could have extra cities. So now is when we get the hero here. And Fiona gets little hatchlings, which seem like they can be upgraded to griffins or something, so I will recruit her, and we'll go ahead and put her army together. Give her some units. So Fiona at level 5, since we're now apparently hiring units at level 5. Can go over here. I think that depends on the level, the overall level of the keep. I'm not sure. Like, what level is this place now is the question. I know I saw it somewhere before. I think it's max level now, because I think the level was displayed down here before. And now it's just perhaps max. So maybe it would have been better to hold off on getting extra. Well, this hero can still learn a skill. Salt Shower. That seems to be the one everybody learns. We'll just have Fiona camp out next to that crystal mine. See if she can't increase the rate at which it produces crystal. She bought everything from there that she needed, which is fine. She can actually now go over to the sulfur mine and camp out. What's his name? Kazadra is up here buffing our sawmill. Everything looks to be more or less acceptable at the moment. So we'll move caravans. Oh, to be honest though, I mean, she's still got a little bit of movement, and the treasure was supposed to be right down here, right? Well, we'll search around with her, because I feel like the treasure was supposed to be like right around here. And that's probably more valuable than 0.5 sulfur. What is this? I can buy some golems. I can't buy the maximum number of golems because I don't have that much mana on Lonzo. But I can go fight 100 foxes now, which might be doable. So I wonder if this is per week. It's probably per week. So that is not apparently where the treasure is. Come on, it said it was somewhere around here, right? I'm not nuts. Ugh. Okay, well. I'm going to disencamp everybody because I want them to run around and get all of their buffs, basically. So I want guys to visit the Forge who haven't visited the Forge. Making another level 5 hero seems actually legitimate at this point. It's really just a lot to manage. Like, if I don't mind managing it, it feels like it's probably just good to have extra heroes. Especially because they give me units to upgrade. Which, if I'm not upgrading them, then I'm just wasting town resources, basically, right? Like things that I could have done. If my gold income supports it, I suppose, is the actual calculus there. So, who has moved and who hasn't this turn? You have 22 movement and have not moved yet, so you can get almost all the way over to the Forge. Or all the way over to the golem place here. Oh, I already visited it. Okay, and only one person per week can visit it. Okay, that makes sense. But he can apparently visit the Forge. Oh boy. Lonzo, what do you think of this guy? Easy. Alright, maybe we go in there with Lonzo and crush our Verdant Wild opponent. Okay, so we're gonna get these guys up front. We want Lonzo mostly up front. Break these guys up real quick. What do we want to do? I'm guessing these guys come in left to right, so I want my Griffin coming in. My 9 Goblin Guards are very useless. I don't like them, so they can go up front. We have our Knight of the Order behind these guys, frontlining. I would like the Arbalest should stay back. The Halberdiers can go in front. I really don't want my Dragon tanking, but I do want him in there at some point, so we will keep our elite units in back a bit so that they don't take the brunt of aggro. Like, I basically just don't want them surrounded and killed instantly. Okay. This looks like a summoner. Temporary forest spirits. Are these forest spirits? Okay, those look like forest spirits to me. So why don't we... I don't have the mana because I used it to summon golems. Let's kind of try to track what's going on here. Lonzo's in back here. Knights of the Order taking a little bit of damage. Doesn't seem like anybody's in too great a threat, though. I have dragons, man. What do you want? I lost 9 halberdiers, and that is it. That is exactly what we like to see. Like, for the trade-off, for, like, I get 500 gold, I get 4,500 experience, and that experience is contributing to more dragons, man. Tactics feels good eventually, but I've got my dragon in there for now. Don't really need more gold at the moment. I'm feeling like... I'd rather have dragons than cavalry, right? So... We're just gonna go for straight up power at first. Oh, okay. So this requires better rallying, both of these. Got it. I think this is my ticket right here. And then we'll probably move to mastery, but or armor. I think armor armor is probably better because we just want dragons that go in and fuck everything up. The dragons seem very, very powerful. Eventually I'm gonna need to be able to put more no, I clicked off of the game. Hold on, guys. Eventually I'm going to need to be able to put more dragons on the board, which is the ultimate plan. Let me see. So Alonso can now pick up this gold. Alonso has obviously already visited the forge, although I did not get my heavy ballista, or my regular ballista, when I did that. I don't think that takes up, that doesn't take up any allocation, like unit allocation either, so that's just badass. How's okay, so Lonzo the Giga Shitter now believes that he can take anyone. Oh my goodness, I stole their boat. That's amazing. I had no idea I could do this, but that's awesome. Alright, this guy wants to go to the forge as well. Everybody's gonna go to the forge at some point. How are we doing here? We haven't built yet for the day. We gotta build. What are we building? We're building war machines for any hero visiting the town, Templista, and faction-specific war machine. So I need a faction-specific war machine. But hold on, if I check the encyclopedia, is the heavy ballista my faction-specific war machine? Is the question here. I don't believe that it says. So I would be interested to know, because if the heavy ballista is a faction specific war machine, then I've already got access to it through this neutral forge that spawned next to me, and so I'm not feeling overly compelled to build this engineer's workshop. It does seem like I'm gonna start wanting the Mages Guild. The town portal feels really good, probably, at this point. End town portal. To learn town portal requires hero level 5, gives all visiting heroes +1 spell power, which is great because it's 4% cooldown reduction. Now if I go to the Guild of the Mages, I can learn town portal, for example. Used out of combat to instantly teleport your hero to an owned town of your choice. Cannot be used to teleport to a recently captured town. Has a 7-day cooldown. Damage and petrify. I don't know why lightning bolt petrifies, but I guess I'll just try to keep that in mind. See, this is the sort of this is another weird design thing that I think is important to note, is that like you really want to lean on people's intuitions, right? Like there's no real reason to associate petrification with a lightning bolt. A lightning bolt could light something on fire. You could apply some kind of shock effect. You could even roll shock effect as a stun, but to try to remember that a lightning bolt petrifies, and depending on how that mechanic is utilized, it could vary. It's like, that's just not an easy thing to commit to memory. Because it's so iconoclastic, it's just doesn't fit any like typical mold that you see. So anyway, I think I want most of my characters to wind up with a town portal. What does the mercenary hall do? I keep avoiding it. Creation of non-faction creatures. Yeah, I remember that. Greatly increases the weekly number of units from a chosen dwelling in town, improves the defense of the town, and creates units to defend the town when attacked. Just requires 15 lumber, that's all. But it also requires a mercenary hall regardless. So since I already built this turn and got the Guild of Mages, so knowledge is mana regen, which is nice. I think it's time to hire. Oh no. No, don't do this to me. I can hire multiple of the same hero? I really don't like that. That just feels bad. Either make them into classes or don't let me buy multiples. Take your pick. Don't do both. It just doesn't feel good. Aesthetically does not feel good to do that. Well, oh, I can't upgrade my guys. I need some more resources. Okay. Who all hasn't moved this turn? Okay, Lonzo, you're gonna... It's not Lonzo, it's this new guy. Marco and Lonzo. I can do this, but I need... Oh yeah, and he's got an ability, doesn't he, that lets him... For some reason this guy is getting a discount. And it may just be that everybody's getting a discount now that I have this character or something. So she creates magical creatures after combat, which means that there's a similar incentive to the shit that's going on with Lonzo to... Okay, Lonzo has already moved. That's what I did this turn. Riza, you want to stay there for next turn since you need upgrades. Kazi and Kazadra want to get nearer to the... So Lonzo needs to come down here and take these guys out, and he also needs to come up here and take these guys out. So I'm going to have to figure out what order I want to do that in. All these characters want to go over here and forge up, basically. I want to make sure that everybody's got their forge buffs. see. What do we want here? This is a hell of a sample in this audio track. I realize that my camera's actually kind of blocking some of the UI. Not great. Where can I put my camera? It looks to me like probably top left or top right is a better choice for this particular game. Excuse me, guys. Kind of flooded me for some reason today. Okay, Marco's gonna buy his ballista stuff. And he's gonna go set up camp next to this Mercury lab, really? Alchemy lab, yeah. Yeah, so it seems like I can just do this for each of my units. Cassie already has these. That's what happened. I'm gonna park her down near this, and she can do the golems in the brewery the next time that the next time those roll around, basically. For now, she will camp to increase the income for a single day. Here we've got to build again. We want the mercenary hall because eventually we want the citadel, but we are actually we're actually running a bit scant on resources, so I have to sell some crystal, I think, since I seem to have a surplus of it. And now I can build some stuff, although what? That crap. I really just sold one too many ore, right? Yep. Well, that was I sold for 50, or I should have just sold one. My bad. I think I have just enough, right? No, it's 5,000. What the heck? Okay. I thought it was only 2,000. The engineer's workshop is something I could build. I think we're just going to do the archives. Since we do want to build something every day, obviously. Can I upgrade? Oh, I don't have gold again. I am actually spending my gold pretty quickly. Kadazra. He's still gonna need to get his forge stuff, but he certainly does not have the gold right now. Fiona, you probably got some griffin stuff going on, right? After combat allows the hero to transform some of their basic creatures into elite creatures. The power gained via this transformation depends on the number of enemies killed, but especially on the power of your own lost units. Wait, lost units? Type of unit and on its faction. Well, boy, wouldn't it be nice to know those specifics. Diplomacy. Allow the so you hire defeated units for a price. Gold price. Okay. Let me see. Lonzo gets to move. Very important. I did do my building, right? Right. Okay. Lonzo, you're coming with me. I actually think that Lonzo, unfortunately, must remain shorebound at the moment. Because he just does not have the routing to get there otherwise. We're gonna sick my dragons on this shit. She doesn't have to do anything. She's gonna stay right where she is. You're gonna disencamp because next turn we're gonna want to... Well, turn after next, actually, we're gonna want to come over here, so you can stay encamped for one more turn. Yeah, good stuff. I absolutely shat on the verdant forces that came to fuck with me, so I'm wondering if I'm doing well. It seems very difficult to tell. I'm gonna get another dragon after this battle, depending on how the battle goes. Let's get rid of some of these, like, random ass units and put our dragon in. It's 322 right there. 47 worms. Swamp arrow. So we're fairly good against ranged. Anyway. We do want Lonzo taking the bulk of the damage, and we've got our dragon coming up the rear. Which sounds a little dirty now that I think about it. You don't want to scale, you just want to attack. I wish I knew what scaling did, right? Oh my goodness, my dragon is just going in. He does not care about the walls. That is the best. Also, this dragon is apparently goddamn invincible. The thing has so much health. How much health does this thing have? $818 health right now. And it's not even full. It's like 1,000 health, man. And I'm about to get another one of these. That's what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second, fellas. All right. So we lost 1 golem in all of that. That's just terrifying. Lonzo is becoming a complete and total monster. 2 dragons is just too much now. They have 460 health by default, but because of all of this, More dragon blood points per rank. Got it. How did I miss that last night? Was that even there last night? I feel like I read this and I was like, where's the description of what it does when it gets upgraded? Maybe it's not there when you're leveling up? I don't know. It would make no sense. So between all of this, I'm basically I'm actually more than doubling champion units HP now, which means that it is absolutely ridiculous to have anything but champion units. Basically, I'm already at 34% again. That's wild. Okay, so Lonzo is just going to continue on his crusade. Meanwhile, we are going to do some stuff here. We have the Mercenary Hall. The game will not let me get the Citadel. Oh yeah, because I need to build the Mercenary Hall. Got it. Can't build the Mercenary Hall because I have no Mercury. That's okay. I can buy some Mercury. I think I only need one anyway. Oh, whoops. No. The misclicks. That one's definitely on me. Nothing about the game to complain about there. Okay, so tomorrow we will get a Citadel, hopefully. Lonzo is an unbelievable monster, and that is what I have learned. I would like to get him some more equipment, though. So, oh, there we go. We can upgrade her units finally. Can I learn a spell? I could have her learn a spell, right? Like, that's the thing that... Ultimate air spell. Affects friendly units, gives them soft-bodied, making them unable to take more than 10% of their max health as damage from a single attack. That seems really good with really small units. Like, you just swarm and use this. It just... I wonder how long it lasts, because it doesn't list a... time. Like, there's a lot of information about these spells that you'd really like to just have on hand. Do all of my heroes just have these spells now? Is that, or like, do they have to visit the town? What's happening? I'm confused. Yeah, so she's got a bunch of spells. Now, if she leaves, is she still gonna have those spells? It's like my first question. Okay, so we'll give it a minute. Now I need to disencamp her. Right, decamp. There we go. Lonzo, you may now proceed to continue to whoop ass. I want to control the battle. I feel like no matter what, because like one of these days I feel like I'm going to click auto battle and I'm going to lose my dragon to a bunch of goblins or something. So that just seems to happen. This guy has 818 health. That is more than half. Wacky. Where's Lonzo? Did Lonzo not enter the battle at first this time? Is that a real thing that happened? Okay, so these 3,750 XP. Yeah, these guys are just doing a terrific amount of damage. This Griffin is actually doing perhaps even more, somehow. Lonzo's level 12, dear God. Yeah, we're just... Tactics is important, but I think armor for now, because I can always just send Lonzo in with like 3 dragons for a little while. It seems like that's working pretty well. Okay, so I'm allowed to buy goblin guards now, but I don't want goblin guards for Lonzo. We want to go smashing some easy combats. That's like the first thing. First things first. And yeah, we send all of our elite units in basically right behind Lonzo, and Lonzo can be in front with the disposable units, and we just start combat. These dragons are probably just going to like breathe twice and wipe out all of these guys. What do these guys do anyway? Farmer. Taxpayer. This creature pays 2 gold to its owner for each power it has. That's awesome. What the fuck? And the cyclones, wind blasts. Enemies with low health have a chance to be thrown up high in the air, taking fatal falling damage. Okay. Doesn't bother me. So the griffins are doing all right damage, man. Seemingly. Oh, I don't want that. I want to know how it's possible to preview units without moving, like without risking entering a movement command. I think that's another thing that was kind of poorly thought out about this game's UI, is that I'm right-clicking to see units. I'm also right-clicking to, left-clicking to see units. I'm also left-clicking to move them. Just not well designed. Visiting the Temple of Ordering allows the hero to make magical constructs using mercury, mana, and gold. Well, I'd like to see them without potentially triggering it, but I didn't trigger the Goblin Archer thing, so maybe I won't trigger this. Offer up to 20 mana, 5 mercury, 1500 gold for these guys. Unfortunately, these guys are not big enough for Lonzo. Now, these didn't use, which is great, because it means that I can come back with another hero this week and fill up my army, because I'm making a lot of gold. Oh, it's actually the last day though. It's okay. Fianni is too far away to actually get there, so none of that matters. Cassie doesn't have any movement because she was just camped. And Lonzo is just about out of steam. Defeat the undead. Owned by Indigo Decay. I think not. Owned by me. I think that's what you mean. Hey, we're starting to break into the Verdant Wild, and we're gonna start fighting our real rivals here. A new week has begun. Excellent. Why, where's this? Oh. So this is just skeletons. He doesn't want skeletons. We want skeletons to go, there we go. We want the skeletons to go there. That's what we want. We're gonna bring all these guys are gonna constantly go back here, and then I'm just gonna have them in the stock pilot brigade or whatever. And that's how we're gonna work that. Lonzo can again continue to thrash. I don't think this is very threatening. 15 to 24, 347. Yeah, these guys are... My dragons are just way bigger than anything has any right to be. It's a dragon, so I mean, like, that's fine. But I may or may not just have already stumbled into the winning formula here. It depends. I'm assuming that other factions could definitely jump out and, like, mess with me. So Lonzo's up front like always. Hopefully taking a good amount of the beating for the team. Dragons are coming in here, messing with stuff. Cool. 3,250 XP, 25% dragon blood. Wait, did I get another dragon? I have 3 dragons? What? What is this? This is crazy. This character feels very something. It might be broken and overpowered, I think. Might be the thing I'm fishing for here. Blue obelisk already visited, huh? Well, if I can win this game, I'll have to try like I'll have to try like a bigger map next time or something. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is the other side of the portal. Easy for Lonzo, probably very hard for anybody else at the moment. So Cassie is supposed to head over here. This is important things that Cassie is supposed to do. We're going to have you buy all the golems because you have lots of mana. And then we're going to have you sacrifice one of your halberdiers. Oh, I see. So if I hold the button, let's see, come on. If I hold the button, then I can, oh. Come on, hold the button. I just get one guy out here and we can just trade one guy for like something random. Is that a fire mage or something? Cassie, what are you rocking? It's a starfish. Okay, so I don't think the visual actually represents what you get. So you just plug it in there and smash. Because it looked like I selected it on the fire mage for sure. So I don't think the visual's representative. In which case it should probably go faster for the record, because that would communicate that it's not really intended to be gamed in the roulette slot fashion. So this guy needs to get his ballista still. Wait a second. Okay, I'm gonna need to sell some stuff again. We're gonna sell some ore. Oh no, I definitely screwed myself out of the Citadel this turn. Forger and Grunt, huh? I'm needing more gold. I'm finding myself needing more gold pretty regularly now. This guy is ready to rock. He can go back home. Feel like perhaps instant movement would be fine for me. I don't like watching them trot around. This chick has town portal, but okay, so we're slowly getting all of our guys stacked. Marco's just camped over here, which is fine. He should go back at some point and get town portal. Somebody's gonna have to come over here and beat up these bears because it'll be like the 100 Fox slaughter or whatever. And it can't be Lonzo because he's on an important mission crushing every other faction. So Kazadra, what a crazy name. So Fianni, do you have all of your, yeah, you've got all your upgrades. I think it's going to be Fianni's job to go boating around. Okay. We want to go get some gold and soup up all the resources out here and everything. And you are the one with the movement, but you just have to stay there because... Okay, so the caravans are moving, and we're ending turn. These guys are unhappy with me. Unfortunately for them, Lonzo is a big man. He's a big dragon man. Oh my goodness, we are about to put some giga donk on these guys. Let's go. So we got 3 dragons there. You know, Lonzo and his halberdiers can show up. And these 3 dragons are just gonna trash everything. I don't think it's possible for them to lose, but we'll find out. I'm level 13, they're level 2. Like, what do you want, you know? Player 1. Player didn't just win. This can't, so they're probably running around with a bunch of weak heroes as well. There's probably like a strong hero somewhere. So wait, is this the hero from before just revived? So can I continue to farm them for dragons? That would be great. Oh, now I'm fighting them at the base. I see, that's a little different. I don't think it's different enough that I care. I must say. I want Lonzo and his dragon boys to just rip everything apart, obviously. And I'm trying to find a way, like, what is the best way, do we think, to... Oh, that's definitely too much. Too much power. I already have 370 on the board is the problem. What are you worth? 350. How about all you guys? 300, there we go. So what we'll do is we'll just put some more, like I'll just put like half of these guys on here. Too many units. So we'll just send these guys home. There we go, 320. That's what we need. We'll keep both of these guys behind Lonzo, and we'll do the triple dragon formation, and we'll just start the battle. It's not so bad, huh? Okay, so you summoned worms, and I don't like worms. I hope that was where they were. Seemed like where all your units were. So I just get their stronghold now? Do I win? What an anticlimax if I win. Player 1. Excellent. Lonzo gained 300 XP. Only 300. What a bummer. I gained 11% dragon, though. Hopes End management. Spend 5,000 gold, 10 wood, and 10 ore to convert this town into an order town. The town will lose all current creature populations, but will otherwise remain just as developed. Give me a second, my friends. Somebody on Steam is asking me, how good is Heroes Hour? Thus far, like, what are my impressions? Thus far, it's cute, and feels like it's got some amount of depth to it. It's a lot like Heroes of Might and Magic, if you've ever played that before. I was told it would be super difficult, but I'm sort of thrashing now. Also, I guess I'll hawk myself. I'm live on Twitch if you want to check it out. So maybe someone will stop by. It's a one-time boost that makes all your heroes level up. What? Two knowledge to all current heroes and to future heroes recruited here. That's pretty nice. So this is okay. So this is just this is a faction. I could keep the city as a faction, as a sort of faction that I don't have, right? Like, and so I can build Thanatoses and stuff like that, right? Is that? Well, hold on, where's the Thanatos option? Lifebane or Thanatos. Allows trading various souls into various other. Yeah, so I don't have any souls right now though. Okay. So you capture living creatures, you convert them to undead units. Soul Beacon. Oh, so I could actually grab undead heroes. That's pretty cool. Like, basically I can keep it the way that it is, or I can convert it for a certain amount into but I wonder if it's mine, because it's not giving me like, seemingly it didn't give me a level up or anything. And so this is the Lifebane. This guy seems pretty wild, so I'll create one of him for an inordinate amount of gold, and we'll create these guys because they are elites, and we'll just add to I keep wanting to call him Alonzo, but Lonzo. We'll just throw some elites into Lonzo's army, and then eventually we'll convert this town, I think. We'll see how it goes. Oh, did he get all of those spells? Is that a real thing? Oh my goodness. Really? I don't know if... Can I page through these? So it seems like he got a whole bunch of spells, but I don't necessarily want all of... Okay. Oh, okay, so I can basically just sort them by element, or what, I can see all of them? Yeah, okay. This is just all of them. This filters by element. But it feels like I should have gotten more than just what's on this page. I don't know. I do have Town Portal now, though, which is great. Converts all the heroes' movement today into mana points, and has a 7-day cooldown. That's very useful, depending on what sort of spells you have. My username, that is mine. Hey, I'm guessing that is you, Cooley. How's it going, man? This game has been interesting so far. It's kind of an auto battler. I mean, it is what it is. It lists itself as roguelike. I don't know how. That's kind of an inflated genre at this point. I've got a guy who's just a dragon man and seems to be destroying absolutely everything. So this is another place owned by the Verdant Wild, which is the one faction that I was planted adjacent to when I loaded up this game. So what I do, generally speaking, is I just plonk in all of my dragons. You're allowed to arrange units like this. If you quickly snap them to each other, they become attached. You can right-click to separate them. You can right-click to further divide units, like so, or add them back together like that. When you start the battle, units that have a list like this, like 6, will separate into the individual units inside of that infantry or whatever. So you arrange your units. My hero is immortal, basically, as long as I win the fight. So if he gets hurt, he'll back up, which is why you just put him in front, seemingly. This is the first time I've played this game, by the way. This is just my first run through, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I will activate both attack and scale, and I'll start the battle. And as you can see, everything breaks apart, and all the guys start fighting. These dragons are completely busted. What if he can't back up? It seems to me that he sort of he acquires phasing and invulnerability whenever he hits 0 HP. And then he'll back up like up to here and recover to full HP. But I think if you lose all your units during that time, you probably just lose the combat. I've never lost the combat yet. So I lost 2 halberdiers here. You've got a more results screen here where you get breakdowns. But I think it only includes the units that you allocated during the first phase, and it doesn't include like reserve units that came in afterwards. Necromancy. Okay, so is that... I have rank 1 Necromancy because I acquired that when I took over this undead stronghold. So that's skills that the hero has. I think the UI is kind of terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the user interface experience has been, like the UX, I guess, has been real bad for me thus far, but the meat and potatoes of the game that exists underneath of it is not bad at all. Drain giving 3 mana or raise spending 10 mana. So I could add skeletons to my army. I don't actually care to add skeletons at all, or zombies, because Lonzo benefits from having champion units, which are big and dumb, and those units are small. Okay, so this is where all my towns are, I guess, down here now. Alright, yeah, so just really quickly wanted to check out. Yeah, so I got some stuff, basically, when I took over that town. Like, some permanent skills, apparently. So this guy will level up again at some point, which is just crazy. Did he get another dragon? Do I have 4? No, okay, I don't have 4 dragons just yet. I'm 50% of the way there, though. This guy converts experience into dragons slowly, which is how I've been... Okay, so I got Crystallize, whatever that is. I'm actually interested to see how the spellbook handles receiving another spell at this point. Oh, I do get a page too. Interesting. So just go around getting structures under your control and defend them. Yeah, it's a lot like Civilization, if you've ever played that as well. But with heroes in a fantasy setting with RPG elements. And there's a ton of factions, and I like the way the base game is set up. If I can win this, I'll show you what I mean. But it seems like campaigns take a little while. Enemy units, it cases them in ice, stunning them, eventually break, and when they are broken, the hit that breaks them deals 20 damage, deals double damage or whatever. Okay, got it. So I cannot quite get to another fight for Lonzo this turn. I have all these other heroes running around doing stuff. I can buy her a ballista finally. She's gonna go back to town, I think. Khazadra here is ready to actually go back to town. Maybe we can upgrade some of his units. We'll actually just create some. Ugh. Everything costs so much now. It feels like I have not done particularly well with my resource management on the whole. So this chick in the boat is going to go around collecting gold. That's actually real good for us because we are so low on gold presently. Cassie is our spell caster. She cannot fight the 100 foxes yet, apparently. It's just not in the cards for her. She's got all the upgrades, though, so we'll send her back to town. Or maybe she should just go over here and camp out. 100 foxes, right? So look at this combat. You can see the number of the units that are potentially fighting you above their head. So if I zoom in, the user interface gets smaller because this game's user interface hates its players. But you can probably see. Above the bears, you have like a range of units, and I think that's how many of each unit is there. Why so many animals? That is a really good question. But it gives you like what the game thinks that this combat's difficulty is based on the hero that you've currently selected. So if I select Lonzo, right? Lonzo over here with the giga fuck ton of dragons, and I highlight this combat, then it tells me that it's easy. But because Cassie is a weak shit with a sea star in her squadron, it's impossible for her according to the readout. And that's because there's 100 foxes in there. The foxes by themselves are not that powerful. A fucking 100 of them is apparently... Like, at one point, I lost a griffin to a bunch of, like... I'm trying to remember. It was a bunch of cats, I think. Like I sent my army in, and I was like, yeah, I've got a griffin. It's going to be awesome. And then, like, a herd of cats. Like, you would see, like, the great bison migration in the West. Except, imagine that, but cats. Just dogpile onto this fucking griffin, and my griffin, all I see is like random bits of meat flying out of the cloud. This game seems like a mess. I agree, but there are some really fun underlying systems here. It's not just boring. It's not like a boring mess. It's like there are a lot of things to talk about from a design standpoint, I think, in the way that the user interface has been implemented. But I think it's got a fun aesthetic. The pixel art is not my favorite pixel art ever, but it's serviceable. As an artist, I have to like, I get into the critique of the art a lot of the time, but the it does put a little pressure on you in the early game to manage your resources, and I can imagine that if I tune up the difficulty setting, the game will be legitimately hard, which is is saying something for it. There are definitely a lot of intersecting systems that are quite well set up. So, and I think layered systems is what makes games like this fun. I can't remember if I met you playing Dota. It's how I met a lot of my friends on Steam. So, but anybody interested in a game like Dota is interested in interlocking systems. Or Path of Exile. I met a lot of people playing Path of Exile. So, those games are obviously kind of intricately layered, and that's part of the appeal. And I can safely say, so there's dragons in this squad, but it's easy. I don't know if that's captured by the Verdant or what. But it still says that the combat is easy for Mr. Lonzo the Dragon Man here. So I'm going to control battle because every time I automate the battle, and this is something that, if I recall correctly, was a problem with Heroes of Might and Magic 2, is it had this thing where, like, after a set amount of time in the game, you could automate your combats. Like, the game offers to say, well, okay, you don't have to watch this combat play out, right? You can just automate it, but it will simulate you losing units that you really were very unlikely to lose if you actually play the game out yourself. Okay, so how much over am I? Like, you can only field so much power, which is nice. Again, there are a lot of good systems here. It's like this sort of tabletop, like, I can't remember which game I really liked that did this. I think it was like Mage Slayer. Like the Mage Slayer tabletop units thing, where one of the big features is that you're only allowed to field so many units. And can I split, please? Oh, I think I have to press shift. There we go. You're only allowed to field so many units, and that's a big part of the balance, right? Is like, okay, I can get plenty of units, but I do have to pick and choose. And then your reserve units trickle out after a while, I think. So, I've never played Dota. I played LoL 2 games and got bored. Well, you know, MOBAs aren't everybody's jam, but I pretty much only play like strategy games and that sort of thing. Or games that have some kind of strategic or thoughtful component. Lately I played a lot of Noita, which I thought was brilliant. Noita is probably one of my top 5 favorite games all time now. Noita is great. Yeah, I agree. Noita is fucking fantastic. Wand programming is a really interesting concept. 11,000 experience. Okay. So do I get a dragon? Drain giving 4 mana. See, here's an interesting thing is I don't really need mana, but I also don't need skeletons. We'll get some skeletons just cause I just don't need mana. Okay, so I got an attack, and I have a skill point here. Have you played Baba Is You? It was made by one of Noita's creators. No, I have not. However, I can check it out on Steam real quick. And who knows? Maybe maybe I'll like it. This looks like it was created by Noita, like by the same devs that made Noita. It looks kind of like a puzzler though. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. Puzzle games are, I think, my least favorite genre. Which is strange because what ends up happening is like role-playing games and strategy games like RTS games and things like that, if they're built wrong, then the problems like roguelike games too. Roguelike games, all those kind of games, if they're built the wrong way, they sort of devolve into puzzlers pretty quickly. And so I like many layered games that lean on abstraction to make sure that the player doesn't feel like they are operating in like a narrow puzzle, a narrow puzzler constraint context. So like one thing that like everybody hates whenever I bring this up is that I really dislike Ascension levels, like how if you've ever played Slay the Spire or any of the descendants of Slay the Spire incorporate their difficulty is that they have an Ascension ladder, and at the top of the Ascension ladder you have a bunch of difficulty modifiers that have been tacked onto the base game, and at the bottom you have none. And so what happens is you start out playing the game and you're exposed to the game in its base state. There are no extra difficulty modifiers that have been slapped on, and everything is, you know, pretty open. You can target telegraphed archetypes. Like you can build your loadout however you want. And then by the time you've climbed the Ascension ladder, there's like 20 difficulty modifiers, and it's more like solving a problem. You're playing very reactively, and you have to make the right choices like with your deck and build like really tightly. And it's much closer to like solving a puzzle at that point than it is to like building some very strong loadout based on the interesting synergies that you can see. And I don't like that because it feels very restrictive and you wind up playing reactively. And people hate that because they love their ascension ladder. And I'm like, you can make a game difficult without doing that, I think. But anyway, I think we'll go with Armor 2 here. Protect units against attacks from large enemy units and spells. Attacks are ignored at around a rate of 5% per rank per power of the attacker. While fighting an enemy hero, their spell power is reduced by 5 per rank. The units get a chance to resist damage and debuffing spells. That's... one projectile protection per rank. Both of these are so damn good. Wait, what? Does that go to level 2 instantly? What happened? No way. What? If you insist, I'll put two ranks into that. There's no way. That's got to be like a UI glitch or something like that. Yeah, I get it. I enjoy solving the game if I sat down to do so, but if I didn't, then I agree I don't want to. It's really a matter of like how important do you think expressive play is? It's like because what happens is that and people don't. This is where I lose people in the conversation is I start explaining like, okay, the more you increase difficulty in terms of like simply adding difficulty modifiers, the less options that were viable previously to you tacking on difficulty modifiers are viable. Like you reduce viability of like various options, and people are like, well, yeah, that's what difficulty is, and I'm like, that's interesting. That's a whole conversation, I think, to myself, but most people don't want to have a kind of deconstructive analytical conversation. But it's like I like it when there's a broad problem space and the skill ceiling is very high, and there's a whole bunch of possibilities and possible answers and ways to solve the problem. And a lot of people consider that to be very easy. Well, they're like, there's all sorts of correct solutions. That's just easy. And I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily true. A game like Noita is really difficult, even though there are almost always lots and lots of ways like that you can win. It's not hard to win a game of Noita, or at least like once you're familiar with the systems. But that's the brilliant part, is that getting familiar with those systems is hard because there's such a high skill ceiling, I think, and mastering those systems is really quite a challenge. And damn, is that good. But what's a bad strategy? Yeah, it's like a bad strategy is one that doesn't result in winning. And I think that a lot of games are a little bit too narrowly focused on providing the player feedback that only cares about whether or not they won and not how they won. And I think that a lot of games like Noita and Minecraft and Songs of Six and Factorio do a good job of rewarding players for how they're playing by literally just giving them feedback on how they play. Like even a game like Hades does a good job, like Forest Spirits each week. Okay, so this is just another one of those where it sends. But yeah, even a game like Hades at least gives you like, it tells you about like how you won. It gives you a little like readout at the end of the game. It's like, this is what you won with, share it with your friends. And people are like, well, that's trivial. That doesn't matter to me. And I don't even know how honestly to treat it when people say stuff like that, because it's like, no, it obviously matters. Everybody likes to like either, stand out, or maybe they like to be like a standard player or whatever, but everybody's got like a way they like to play games. And when the game provides you direct feedback on how you played the game, it rewards you for playing the game in a way that, was a choice. It's bad about strategy in the context of bad strategies should become unviable. Who decides which ones are bad? Yeah, not finding out how Chainsaw works in Noita to be like, well, yeah, that's a whole can of worms. That's like, I don't like the fact that the chainsaw mechanic is hidden. I think it should be like, I just don't like that the tooltip doesn't tell you about that. It's like, why not? Why force players to find out about that on the wiki? Ooh. We've got a Ring of Celerity or Experience, and this kind of experience does not actually convert to Dragon Blood, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the ring since my character doesn't have a whole lot of equipment yet, which is great. Yeah, basically. I like games that give you a bit of room to be expressive with how you're going to win. And I think a lot of the best way to approach like a middle ground of winning, getting like the win-win where you have difficulty and you also have freedom of expression is to lengthen your game out, add more content, and allow and more very difficult content, but allow players to choose their path through the game. And record that like in a checklist fashion, like, you know, have you beaten this boss, yes or no, and throw achievements at the player for stuff like that, so it can still feel rewarding, because I think a lot of people are afraid that stuff's not going to feel rewarding anymore if you take stuff like ascension levels out. They're like, where am I going to get my credentials? It's like, well, go lateral, broaden it out instead of making it such a linear thing, you know? I really need that gold income, man. I'm really starting to struggle to buy all the units that are available to me. I think that everything reset, so I'll probably send Cassie here. Well, I don't... Okay, that's already visited. Oh, okay, so I did do these. Ooh, somebody can go over there and battle, what's his nuts? Kazadra, you can go over here and do a battle for once, right? It's considered challenging, I guess, but we'll see. What do you have for spells? Okay, so you got some spells. What is this? Lightning bolts? Cool. Crystallize feels pretty good, probably. Shadow Blast. Crystallize, I feel like, could really... Like, I just prevent those units from moving. That feels pretty good. Oh, they got busted out of. Lightning bolts? Did that kill my own units? I couldn't tell whether it was highlighting my own units or not. The fucking battle, fucking battle screen is such a mess in this game. It's so hard to keep track of anything. So I'm obviously gonna lose some units here, but that's okay, because Kazadra's level 1, which is a huge bummer. I don't know if there's a way to just, like, kill Kazadra and hire another of the same class of guy, but I don't like having this level 1 hero, because now that I'm further into the game, buying heroes, they come at, like, level 5. Like, automatically. Feels like... We got the credentials thing, like people grinding for, oh, one sec. I want to make sure I'm caught up. Chainsaw Gimmick is obvious in hindsight, just nobody realizes it. I never got the credentials thing. Well, people grinding for cosmetics and stopping the moment they get them all. I'm just playing for fun and ignoring cosmetics outside of the set ones that I want. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because obviously there's, you know, to some extent, that kind of psychology exists in all of us. Like, we want a challenge, and pursuing the objectives the game presents you feels pretty natural, but at the same time, it's like, you know, the reason I tend to enjoy sandbox games is because I'm pretty, like, ready to set up my own goals and then pursue those for myself. But I do know a lot of players who, man, if you drop them in Minecraft, like old Minecraft, where there's just nothing really linear to do, they just wander around for like 5 or 10 minutes and then they quit, right? Like, straight up. So having it be like totally open is obviously leaves some players feeling adrift, and I think that's probably some kind of a fundamental difference. So banditry gets me bandits. Modern Minecraft still has barely anything, or has barely anything still. I mean, it to some extent, yeah. I did not like that they put the Ender Dragon in there, because that makes it, that's like a credentialized endpoint. But and yeah, Ascension, the Ascension ladder for stuff like Slay the Spire is 100% just an officially sanctioned credentials ladder. Players will invent credentials ladders whether you put one in your game or not. Like, they'll say, well, okay, the hardest Super Iron Man difficulty is the one that's real, and if you haven't beaten the game on that, then why don't you shut up and get your opinion out of here? And that attitude bothers me so much. It feels elitist to me. And as a player who, like, always plays in the top 1%, of the player base, it feels very weird to me to enter a community and then I start discussing ideas. I'm like, I don't think Ascension levels are the way to go. And people immediately come out swinging with the like, well, what do you play on, Ascension 0? And I'm like, no, man, I play on the max Ascension level. I always am playing at the top of the game. Like, get out of here with your weird nastiness for no reason. It's like, why are players cruel to each other? I don't understand that. Killing the Ender Dragon and getting full enchanted gear is end of Minecraft early game, but most people stop there. Well, yeah, I mean, because then like, depending on how you consider it, right? Like, Minecraft can be about setting up like programmatic generators for resources and stuff like that, auto fishers and golem generators and that sort of thing, you know. Oh, so I gained 2 levels is the thing here. Leadership, morale again. We can get rallying. Rallying's always good. Units close to the hero. New skill just decrease the cost of buildings in all towns. Several heroes with planning have their effects stacked. Now, see, that's really good. Okay, so this guy will go there next turn. Yeah, I will admit that I'm actually having a lot of fun with this game. Even if a lot of the implementation is a huge mess. Okay, so she's beacon burns with an enchanted flame. It will guide your hero to move further, in addition to teaching them a spell. So it's like a campfire, except spell instead of gold and on the water. So I got unsettle. I wish I knew what that was. The soundtrack's terrible. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think this soundtrack is incredibly garish and poorly composed. And I don't know that much about music. But I did hang out with a few musicians for many years, and I think I'm just adjacent enough to be able to tell you when something is like pretty lousy. And this is, I don't want to pick on whoever did it, but it's not great. Where? There, okay. I was like, what am I doing? Affects enemy units, lowers their morale significantly. Negative morale gives a chance to become terrified whenever they take damage. Gotcha. So it causes people to flee when you hit them, which is nice. Discussing DRG weapon balance. DRG. You're gonna have to tell me what DRG stands for. Is exactly like that. What HAZ do you play on? Yeah, Deep Rock Galactica. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of credentialization. I think it's I could be wrong about this, but like people I get once you get into a conversation like that, I tend to get met with like one of two responses. The one that I'm thinking of right now, because I know there are others, but the one that I'm thinking of right now is like, but that's just a loud minority of the player base. Like it's so common for me to bring up like, well, you know, this sort of credentialization and elitism happens, and people immediately want to shut you down with like, well, that's super rare, dude. And it's like, it's not even a little rare. It's very strange. It's like 100% of the time whenever I have brought up an issue with like the way that difficulty has been achieved in a game. I'm not trying to debate that that you should have difficulty in a game. I think that's like obvious that challenge is good, right? Oh wow. Wow. This guy just ran right in. Uh-oh. This guy's level 11. Okay, so there's drawbridge there, and we... No, I don't want it to open. I want to close. Oh no. How do I turn it off? That's very bad. We lowered the drawbridge, and whoever lowered the drawbridge, like, forgot that they could do anything else. Uh-oh. So this is what happens, is that they're coming back at me because I crapped all over their city, and now they're gonna try to do the same to me. So this is Fianna, huh? Well, I guess there's really only so much that we can do. I'm gonna try to use my so Hollow seems great here. I don't know how long it lasts, but we want them to only take 10% of their maximum health as damage, like. Rain of Arrows seems very strong. Grasped by Shadows, becoming unable to attack, remove 30 max damage. We want to do all of this, honestly. But I feel like a Rain of Arrows could be great right here. And then we will start to I'll crystallize these guys who are up front. We're just trying our best to survive this, I think. I don't know if there are any summoned units anywhere. Restart game. Also on the other side, you do have a lot of new players saying insane things, and they really do need to play just a bit longer. That's part of it, right? Part of it is that there's always nuance to a discussion. Part of it is that there's always two sides. It's never just one or the other. And I'm not trying to say that, like, you just need to indiscriminately let new players say whatever they want and take all of their opinions equally seriously. At the same time, that kind of elitism and credentialization, to shoot down ideas, like to shoot down considered, thoughtful opinions. I've seen that way too often. It's like it exists, and it's really hard to deal with. New players do say insane shit, but more than that, even experienced players say thoughtless shit, too, which is something that's like not that's really disappointing. It's like very often even experienced players can have like ill-considered opinions, you know. Okay, so I'm trying real hard to not get pizzoned. I feel like I'm doing okay given like the power differential here. I think I'm kind of out of mana though. Yeah, I'm totally out of mana. Uh-oh. They're coming in, man. I don't know what we can do. I would like to close my gates again, if at all possible. It's looking pretty bad for us. It is in fact looking terrible. Yep. And Lonzo here is too far away to sweep back. I should have thought about this. impossible for any other unit, but easy for Lonzo. Uh-oh. How much movement do you have, man? Could you perhaps... So this is still my town, oddly enough, and I have a shit ton of gold. So where did... Oh, she got blown up. She's just gone. Okay, so I guess this is what we do, right? Come back here with this character. Survivor. What does this mean? Alright, well, and now I guess we just buy a ton of... Can you get mana back? And mid-battle, I don't think... Unless you have some kind of skill, I think the answer is no. Oh, that was a lot of gold. We're just going to put all of the units in Fianni's retinue here. And Lonzo... Actually, Lonzo got Town Portal, I just realized. We want a Town Portal to Smithdale, man. Aha, now what? Now what? There we go. So that was pretty satisfying. Not gonna lie. That was a lot of this is the mood. It's like I'm definitely having an achieved power fantasy moment here, because I looked at Lonzo's skill tree early in the game and went, okay, definitely what you do is you just get a million dragons with this guy and then destroy everybody. So we can't just put our dragons on the field. We definitely need something to hold back the atrocious number of units there, and I'm thinking that it's just Javelineers. We'll put Javelineers in front here. Uh-oh, it took a dragon out because it doesn't love me. So this is too many units, basically, is what it's telling me, which is fine. We'll just split them up. Oh, 379, we went a little over. There we go, 357. Wait a second, was that one was too many? 367, okay. That's probably fine. Just a couple Javelineers and Knights of the Order up front, just to give them a difference there. Wait till you fight a spellcaster with the turn Dragon's Chief spell. Oh no, don't. That's probably gonna happen to me sometime soon. Anyway, I actually do. So I'm gonna start this battle, and once I've cleared out these annoying invaders, I don't know how to cancel that order. Okay, it's right click. Frog Torrent selects. Frogs will fall from the skies attacking enemies. Group of ice elementals. Thunder elementals. Hollow. Okay. Quantize seems rather broken for a lot of cases. Group of flame jugglers, which are ranged attackers that will fight for you. A lot of these seem good. Yeah, there it is. It's Hex. Affects enemies, turning them into frogs. When a frog dies, the original unit is restored. Okay, so that's not as bad because it's not going to get you killed, basically. Not gonna lie, Frog Torrent actually sounds pretty good. Why don't I go ahead and summon some ice elementals, though? Lonzo is not much of a spellcaster. He does not have a whole lot of mana. Okay, I'm out of... but my dragons are invulnerable seeming. Look at them. They're just huge. They're huge in a ridiculous way that is almost not okay. Can I send in reinforcements? Yes. So you send in reinforcements automatically out of your entire retinue. So you notice how like you field units and you have only a certain amount to field. Well, all of the rest of your units trickle into the battle over time. Which is what happened to me when I was defending against this character in the first place, and all their units kept coming in and won out eventually, even though I managed to put a pretty good fight at first. Okay, so we're kicking their asses because these dragons are just unacceptably powerful. They're like 7 of any other unit. Lonzo getting 2750 XP. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead. Indigo Decay has no more heroes or towns and has thus lost the game. Lonzo's important. So is there anybody else? Yeah, there's the Verdant guys. So there are 3 players on this map. So I can get Ward or I can get Armorer. I think I'll get Armorer 2 here. Tactics is actually... I think I want Tactics now because I want to be able to field the next dragon that I get at the start. Because I've got 4 dragons. I'm about to have 5 dragons. Can you choose the order? Bye. I don't know if you're leaving the stream or if you're saying bye to the Indigo Decay guys, but they got blown up, and if you're leaving, then have a nice day. But I'm probably gonna go try to just blow up the Verdant Order. However, it's lunchtime here, and I really gotta go do lunch. So this was the second installment of my initial impressions of Heroes Hour. It's a lot of fun so far. It is a fun mess, as most of the reviewers indicate on Steam. So, but I'll come back to this and I'll wipe out the Verdant Decay and I'll play one more game of Heroes Hour, I think, in this series at the very least before I stop it, which will be which I'm just going to crank up the difficulty a bit, and I'm going to put and I'm going to set like a much larger map because this is like the smallest map with only 2 other AI players on the map. So I'll go ahead and do that after I'm done with this game, because it seems like I'm just going to... Lonzo the Destroyer is just going to wipe out all life. All enemy life force in the world at this point. So thank you for stopping by, and thanks to anybody who's watching the video, and, you know, have a good day, fellas, and I will catch you guys... I'll catch you guys later. I will continue this maybe later today, maybe tomorrow.